How do you even make that happen? Like almost intentional.
It was, I felt so bad. When it was
Yeah.
You just
That's
went,
all you
shit,
good
mom.
thing.
Yeah. All this again.
No, you didn't. Or you didn't.
They have this whole parking thing there.
They have so fun talking.
Yeah, cause like. I'm like, it's not when no one can, right, like, test the thing. This was it, and then yeah, it's like, they take up the two spaces, there's no, come on.
Oh. About 8 hours of sleep and I'm so. Oh.
Like, I'm making more awake. Like, I just sleep.
Yeah. A time with school.
I'm like. Yeah, I'm chilling.
I'm trying to avoid it.
Yeah, it's because
Like,
like.
it's like any rest.
Oh, yeah, but one that's.
Why?
She not.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, is this?
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, I'll make it to class. I have to.
I literally, no, I'm used to it. And then the other, like, it's just, Jesus. Where you break code, pardon me, I'm combining it. Yeah, I mean. And I mean, really? Where you.
Yeah, I probably won't sleep.
Okay, so it is 8:30 and we can start. Today, we are going to focus on looking more into what are some specific career opportunities for computer engineering. And this lecture is going to be mostly guided by you guys, as we have talked about this, and I just want you to brainstorm. So we're going to split it up into kind of 3 different categories. The first category is in software. So what are some jobs, job titles, companies that you can work at as a computer engineer? Because you can work in software. You do have the basis of computer science, right? You know algorithms. And I'm going to let you guys first brainstorm, come up with some things, and you'll share it with me. I'll write it on the slides.
I don't even know what data analytics is. Software.
Oh, the other day you went right there.
All right.
That's this, you got your flashlight.
Yeah, you gotta.
And
Oh, yeah. All right. I know those. Yeah. And it's just a lot of driving. Probably is like still, I don't know what else.
what was your job?
I guess it keeps as well. I don't know. That's where you describe it. One of the selects. The black or something. You have some. I like to go back and train.
I feel like some hardware is like you could learn how to code, like at least an okay amount. Jobs. Let's look for jobs.
I'm just writing that. I think everyone is a teacher. Network operations. Oh, that maybe like.
I guess a lot of.
Yeah, yeah, and then they build it, and they can also like code it. Eagles, they haven't opened something out of. Yeah, since. For all this time, but you can.
Really did not say this. Look, you at least find something.
No, thank God.
Even though you can
Two
test it.
8-hour shifts, Saturday and Sunday. And then after my Saturday shift, I went to the USC football game. Bro, next month.
We did not.
Stanford.
Oh, okay.
Stanford source.
Yeah.
I have it on. Yeah, they don't go there. But.
Yeah. Native center.
I didn't get home until 1. So I did it was long. I want my. Yeah. Or actually not.
This
but it was.
Yeah. I've been around the USC campus one time, but I never.
Bro, it's
Massive.
It's huge. It's crazy.
It's a whole town, dude.
No, it's literally a city.
Yeah.
I walked through there and it was like.
You need network protocols. Hospital. You need to do
Yeah,
automations.
They have some like fire station, like goes great. In the Coliseum, yeah, it's in LA. In the Coliseum.
Oh, no.
I'm kidding.
I have no idea.
I hate for like those say someone that should run it, but like that's not the try. You have to be living there for.
Well, they're trying to exploit kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you love walking, there's walking up down the city. Yeah, and come on the drive, to the road.
Yeah. This could be a QA.
So you see. Oh, honestly. I didn't mean to do that.
Just because it's my skin.
That means like, you're in that awkward situation where they kind of.
Okay.
I think we could do cybersecurity.
They finally go.
It's really fun.
It's like, they have the right of way, but they're being stupid, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just take.
I have this one friend from high school, or like this one friend, and like, I think he's left or something like that, but he's like, all right, he's like,
Oh, he didn't take up. Yeah, no. So now he has to go through the whole marathon. Because it's only.
Actually, like, dressed down here,
I went to a party and there's
You know, when the
freshman,
plane has.
he is freshman.
Yeah, like that.
Then they
Like,
were
all
like,
these cars are backed up, it's like, I have to get, I'm sorry, but.
What do you mean?
Especially with the traffic right now.
Dude, they're literally just working on CL
The whole highway.
using the standard thing space.
That's also because I've driven here like every day. I know like also that roads.
You could be a full.
Yeah, I'm just lucky. I know there's like 15 minutes. But like, yeah, it's just an easy.
Yeah, how do we get there like 5 this morning here? My first class at 7, but at least I'm out of here like 3:30.
Who was your
I'll
first
go to 7, that's at the stage.
Oh.
So I just kind of like sit there.
I have a friend
Did
with-
you order Fortnite?
Just kind of like think about like a little.
Girl, I have a friend, she goes to like Red Clifton and she's in Python and it's on her notes, bashing the Python like, she's like, at first she's like, oh my god, I'm so good at Python. And then it is like, hate Python.
Well, I mean, that's how it is.
Just, it's like robots.
Yes.
Robots.
Or.
I like robots.
Yeah. What else? Application support.
What?
What? No, I didn't apply for this.
I want to go for Roblox. but-
Dude, I hate I pay so much. Like, it's not even a joke.
Build the drones. Make the drones. So, that's all, yeah.
What about job time?
Yeah, it was, I'm good. Embedded, I don't know a job title for like embedded system development.
Okay.
Oh. Dell, Intel, mostly for embedded systems, because they have to make like.
Take
Oh, no. No, probably like
research.
Yeah, research in embedded systems.
Sure. Are you specifically talking about software?
No. No.
I remember Francie came to my room one day, like, she was knocked down to get a training.
What?
You have to ask them.
Find my server engineer. Why do you need to find your server? Oh, it's a find my app. You're working on the server.
You don't necessarily have to.
Use Java for this?
Okay. So,
It's disgusting.
so basically you can do like your scientists. would do work.
Plus 5 weeks. Oh, listen, and entry
Yeah,
level.
that's how I was like, running. Oh, you click that one.
So with that, think of more job.
It is for everything on LinkedIn. So like,
Dude, I can work with folks for
like,
this.
software engineer, or like, whereas developer, things I know.
What do you guys?
Yeah.
Oh, you're already looking at jobs.
Oh, no, we're just looking through yours because you can find a bunch, like, we found a bunch here.
Using your resources.
Why do I need to think about it? You come up with your.
Waiting for fraud.
That'd be just.
You might get a stable spot if you take a peek and I'm sure. The 6, the
But that's.
8. That's all I'm doing.
Okay.
Potentially what you do.
Okay.
You can do this and we're gonna see. This is like doing one thing really well. It's like an embedded system.
Wow, I just did my homework.
How were you? That means first 2 weeks.
Oh, it's just for software.
Just anywhere good. I was really hoping to get into like game development and stuff, but I think it's like they first started out. All around. I was thinking like maybe for like 6 weeks.
All right, so it's been about 10 minutes of discussion. So I do want to hear from you guys about what you came up with, what you found, and we want to focus on software jobs for this cycle. So what do we got?
Edit systems engineer.
So we're putting embedded systems engineer. This can entail a lot of different jobs. And since we're on the software side, maybe let's focus on like operating system development or driver software. What else would be efficient programming? So just programming. Right? Input output, I know, sure. So this could also be like any other part of embedded systems. Okay, so what else do we have? Okay. So data. This is more like you need to know, so like machine learning, Python, databases, all of these things that you can learn with what you learn from the base courses, CS 111, 211, 311. Okay. So you're not explicitly taking these courses, but you have the knowledge for the interview of algorithms, right? And when you get that job, they will teach you these other things. And what you'll find when you do go to jobs, your first month up to maybe even 6 months, they're going to be training you. So you don't know everything that you need to know for all of your jobs. You just need to know enough to convince them that you can learn. Okay, so that is why you're going to see a wide range here. So what else?
QA.
Okay, quality assurance. So this is testing. This is more of an entry level job. This is something that you can get while you're an undergrad. Someone else. I've got 3 from the same people. What is the most basic thing that involves software? Okay. You can be a developer. This can be front end, back end, right? Make features, software engineer. Okay. Anything else? I want to hear from this side. One thing. Or maybe, yeah.
Website?
Sure. You can do so. Web development. Right. So again, it goes back to something like this. You have the base knowledge from your CS courses in order to learn something like this. I just want to reiterate that you're not necessarily going to use every single skill that you learn through the computer engineering major. You can become more focused later on. Okay. And you can also find some of these jobs like this one, where you're going to be reaching out wider and you will need more of the skills that you learn in computer engineering. Okay. Next is hardware. So you learn also a lot about hardware as computer engineers. So what are some jobs that you can think of that are more focused on the hardware side that you would be able to apply to, do things like that? Okay. So again, I'm gonna give you guys 10 minutes. Discuss, come up with things.
You might not be
This is
Und jetzt wird's. I mean, you can find everything.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, like I.
Like 6 foot, he isn't even on here.
Yes, that's the.
More validation.
Like second one, yeah, that's basically what we.
What?
That's actually really cool. I've always wanted to like.
An audit relations.
I was thinking about seeing what you boys were this topic on that. Like, so you just have awesome.
Dude, Wilson's back. I don't know how it's gonna be.
Oh, was it that?
I don't know how it's gonna be.
Ripping off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he was doing like data structure and I was just like, the only one. And people,
You're doing real life.
Yeah, see.
I don't recommend it. Flow code.
Yeah.
it's like in the
Still
H or
did, like I
something.
opened.
No,
All my stuff.
Oh, it's because Yoshi had the one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the cat is a char star, which is a string pretty much. They're throwing, they're all throwing stars.
Yeah, yeah.
He's trying to see if like, within this.
What?
I looked at.
I mean, that works, but like,
He did not.
then it's gonna, and you didn't do it right.
Because he's.
That was the.
He's freaking out. Yeah, I just saved him like. His height. Yeah, I gave him like. He was just focused on that and I was like, what the people do? I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm server.
And I was like.
Oh,
Like right down. Yeah.
Like that's just bad. I don't know if she's gonna expect us.
I think, honestly, I think so.
Go away.
It is. Yeah, it is. You guys. Wow.
Like now I didn't get
I thought you
into.
were.
They're not like the.
In statements, I hate it. File is so much easier. Like I get all that. I thought they were. I thought it was win.
That's
So
not
they
bad.
have diff and. Win. I mean, they're getting a file. I can do up. Even if it was, I don't think I ever
Once he
used
he's
it.
like, you know, like a, maybe it's for college, or college, he got like stuff,
Your stuff.
he forgot all of it.
What?
And then,
Makes it very like.
His speech was this, told him randomly in the middle of the.
Wait, what?
Yeah, and then.
They'll just put it just because.
Yeah.
But now it actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Oh, so for arrows.
Yeah, it's right. I had no idea. That was.
Oh, yeah, they're writing it.
I was like, why? Yeah, are you?
So they're all doing it from scratch.
Why?
Yeah, some of them just like.
Yeah, that's like, because I want to be able to. I think it might work better with computer engineering. I don't know, but definitely, yeah, I still want to get my mind. Honestly, I'm worried about secret under three. Yeah, I'm definitely, I want to go to state, yeah, because they have good violence with very.
That's cool.
I want to go for my. Just go for them.
You was in the wrong class. You've been in the wrong class for 3 weeks.
So doing, my favorite one right now is. They going on.
So like, you have people like on class, and they take your class.
I saw the.
I know, so I saw the show. I was like, mine's such a way.
So discussion has passed. So hardware jobs. What's the one that I've been telling you about a lot of? And then what is the broader category that we put over there?
Semiconductor and computer chip design.
Computer chip design. So this as a subcategory, ASIC engineer. Right? So ASIC engineer, you're making hardware that does one thing really efficiently, right? It's not programmable. It could have some programmable aspects, but it's not general purpose programmable. And then the other thing that we put under here was computer architecture. This is making general purpose CPUs. Or another thing is GPU engineer. So again, you will learn the basis of all of these things. You would learn a lot more when you go into these jobs. So ASIC engineer, that is the one that I did mention to you guys. It's kind of on the rise. We need more ASIC designs because general purpose compute is becoming harder and harder to make faster. But general purpose compute through computer architecture, they're still releasing new CPUs, right? It's just more incremental changes. Maybe 5-10% increase every 2 years when they release new CPUs. So computer architecture, those are companies like Intel, AMD, IBM still makes processors, ARM, what else? Apple, Google is making their own chips for their phones too, right? So lots of different places where you can do that. And then GPUs, Intel is making GPUs now, right? So these are also becoming more and more popular with more competition. NVIDIA makes GPUs. And AMD has offices for GPU engineers in San Diego. It's a smaller team, and they're more on the research side. But they do have a team of, I believe, 15 people. My neighbor is one of them. All right. So what else do we have?
We said.
Wait, I went to the wrong slide. I'll just swap them later and post to Canvas. What you were saying?
Failure analysis, like.
Okay. So again, quality assurance, right? For hardware. That's a good summary, right?
Electronics engineer.
Oh, sure. This is like, maybe you can make, so. Make. Design. Even manufacturing. Like maybe sensors. There it is. Etc. Right? You'll learn the basis of these things too. And then again, quality assurance for hardware. It's not as entry level as software quality assurance, but it is still entry level. So you would be kind of verifying things that the people doing these jobs are making. Okay? Testing them, making sure there's no errors that they might have missed. Okay, anything else? I think there's some more. Do you guys have anything else?
Thermal validation engineer, which is part of engineering.
Thermal validation? Okay, so again, quality assurance. So I can just put thermal validation.
And then we had like a cloud server engineer.
Cloud server engineer.
It's also a big structure.
Let's actually put that. And this is not hardware, this is now system design. So let's put that here. So cloud server engine. So making decisions on what is the best 100 or 1,000 servers to buy to minimize costs, but maximize performance, right? Okay, so again, this slide says hardware, but now I want you to think about more on this system level design. So another thing that could have gone here is this embedded systems engineer. Okay, so I'll just put it here. So again, 10 minutes. You can discuss, look up things, come up with some more jobs on the system design side. And we will, again, summarize what you come up with on the slides. Okay, and also, since this is the last one, when you are, well, whenever you have the opportunity, the code for today is 710. So just answer anything through the toll. It's just for attendance purposes and that you are participating in these sessions.
That's your person last day.
That's you see my project. You see engineer experience. Oh, 7 years you see engineering experience. You see, thanks for saying.
Yeah, they asked for it. Especially, I guess, like,
Like re-register.
Yeah, this is 7 year usage.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Try going to his pool.
Or, so I guess it's like communication.
Oh, yeah. But you don't.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes more sense.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a little confused.
Yeah, I was like,
And like 300 grand
they wrote.
admin, but at that point, service. It's system design. I don't think that counts. It'll be more like software. They're recruiter. System.
Yeah. What do you work on?
Dude, that's actually funny. Nobody thinks about it. That's a lot of water.
So you just like put up your whole water system?
That's what me and my dad did.
Just okay.
We're gonna cook all that. That's what parts.
I know some concerts and posts and stuff. You can talk about for embedded systems engineer. Someone again, just like the here and outline or
Rules.
functions, frames, functions. It's the system. It's usually the sled systems, I think, or something like that. Yeah, those are things that are mostly solved. But
You're not paying me.
for things that are still long, so having new features and things,
Literally not given.
then I think they're kind of
It
at
didn't
their,
Sorry.
they're done. There's some like,
Yeah. What? You don't like that? That's wild.
oh, that's gonna be that, right?
Which this thing is the same, like system design, it's like something that's still like, it's like one thing. Like all this stuff.
So system design is more of, for this application. Where I need.
That's a software.
All of this.
Modems. Swiss programming.
We should use this
CNC.
more.
I mean, like, yeah.
For system design, there's the job that
Bones system.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's like the future domain.
Yes, they agree with this.
Yeah. These are service.
It's like a sort of where it's not
They pay again.
yeah, it's not like what. Oh, yeah, like.
Or sentencing.
So far. Cheryl, like, yeah, like, well, I think like higher level. I think it's like that. It's like.
I've heard for some shit.
This game.
It's like only one in-
Like to fix it.
Yeah. I was like,
Oh, no, shit.
yeah.
I did not even know.
You know, but you're there. If you guys, I was like, probably.
I really do not know who it is. I've never met her. Did I ever see it?
I don't even know. You see me? How come their system? Yeah.
You've done physics or?
No, no.
What?
I mean, it's just they group them together stuff. Really.
11 to 2. That would.
Oh, yeah, for this, oh, yeah, for other shit.
Or 1 is the shift.
Oh, mine's like 45.
Wait, what? You have an hour shift also?
Oh, no, this is, I covered for her.
Okay, I think even though it hasn't quite been 10 minutes, we're mostly done discussing this. So let's add some more things to this list. So you guys, you're adding like, again, quality assurance. So this is always a thing. And this is more like testing. That's the components / integration level. So what do I mean by integration? In systems, you can have many different components going into it. Usually if it's complex enough, you have different teams working on different components. And then once they're finished with their components, they need to integrate them together into the system. Like for the Mars rover, they will have a team that is doing navigation. They have a team that's doing the, maybe they have an arm on it to pick up rocks or a drill to drill holes. Those are all different teams, and then they all need to integrate it into the one system in the end. And you need people to those teams to test them individually. And then when you're trying to negotiate and bring everything together, you again need to test all of these things together before you send this billion-dollar machine to Mars. You know, cross your fingers that it works, right? So what's another thing? Yeah.
Robotics engineer.
So again, this is a full system. It might not be the job title, but going back to the same example of the Mars rover, it's an embedded system. It uses robotics. There would be multiple different people on different teams. And you'll also have more focused teams. Like navigation is focused on software for the most part. And anything else? All right, so I will add something to this list. So systems engineer in general. I'm going to add some examples. So Illumina. They make DNA sequencer machines, okay? And they, again, I'm going to mention, they are located here in San Diego. And on this sequencing machine, there again is a computer to control it and also process the outputs. And like I mentioned with the research, and we were partnering with Illumina for this research, we wanted to add that computer to process and analyze the data right on the machine, rather than getting the data from the machine, then sending it to a whole bunch of servers. That would take days, right? So this is one form of systems engineering. So with this in mind, is there anything else that you can think of that would be systems engineer? Maybe that we've talked about?
Is there any-
So, yeah, that's more hardware. But maybe as a systems engineer, you can make choices as to what computer, what CPU you would use. But as systems engineer at that higher level, you're not really going to be working in that lower level.
Control system engineer.
Yeah, so control systems or you can like at say Tesla making decisions on what components are going into the cars for navigation, for the computer. Like someone decided that the AMD GPU was good enough performance, low enough costs that would maximize their end margin on the car overall, right? So they need someone with that expertise to make sure that autopilot will still work and be responsive. So the other thing that I am going to add here is consultant. So a lot of these companies, they are not evolving their systems every year, so they don't need someone to hire full time. But you can be freelance and help them make decisions. Like any small company needs a infrastructure of IT. And there are larger IT companies that work as they only do consulting, but some people also just do it as freelance. So things like that, helping them make decisions on what computers to put in and how many, things like that. Make sense? So we can see that there's kind of this broad spectrum of jobs that you would be able to go into as computer engineers, right? So that's one of the advantages. Because you're doing half computer science, half electrical engineering, you can kind of apply to both kinds of jobs. You're more limited in the electrical engineering parts because you're kind of focused on systems and signal processing, things like that. But for the software side, you have the basis to do anything. And you can work on projects related to a job that you want so that you can build your resume to say and convince them during the interview that I do know, say, SQL, because that is what you're listing on your job as a skill that I need to have. Okay. So that is all for today. We went 4 minutes early. Before I forget, I am going to swap these.
Sorry, Dan, you know, that apparently I was missing like a bunch of them. I was just finding us some. I didn't.
But you changed
But I
it
changed it
last week.
last.
Okay, so let me just leave here.
This is what I have.
One second. I just want to leave the teams.